Today we're going to look at the 10 most important things to eat during your non-fasting window. We'll discuss different strategies, key vitamins and nutrients, and food recommendations that provide those nutrients. If you're watching this video, hopefully you've chosen some form of intermittent fasting. If not, and you want to learn more about the full range of benefits, go ahead and click on the banner above. This will bring you to my previous video where I cover the top 10 benefits of intermittent fasting, as well as different fasting methods that might fit your schedule. Now, for those of you who are already fasting, do you feel like you're getting all of those benefits? Does the fasting period feel miserable? Are you hungry most of the day? Maybe you feel full, but you find yourself still craving more food. Well, sticking to those eating windows is only half of the battle. Another really key factor is consuming nutrient-dense foods during that eating window, and that will help you maximize the intermittent fasting benefits. Sometimes those leftover cravings are a sign that your body is still lacking a specific vitamin or nutrient. Now, that being said, we're going to go through each of those 10 items one by one, and if you stick around until the end, we'll provide some key tips and strategies that will take the burden out of your intermittent fasting routine. So starting from the bottom, number 10 is electrolytes. This includes minerals such as sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and chloride, and it's extremely important for staying properly hydrated. During your fasting period, you actually lose a lot of electrolytes through your sweat and urination, and when you have insufficient levels of electrolytes, it can often offset some of the intermittent fasting benefits, and it'll make you feel hungrier during those zero-calorie periods. Some high electrolyte foods include most fruits and vegetables, dairy products, seafood, red and white meats, and then there's a huge market out there for different electrolyte powders and drinks, but you'll definitely want to be careful that you don't buy any with high amounts of added sugars. Moving on, number 9 is green tea. Zero-calorie caffeine in general is great because you can have it during your fasting and your non-fasting periods, but green tea in particular contains a compound called catechins, which are a type of antioxidant. And catechins can actually increase the activity of enzymes that break down fat, which lead to a greater rate of fat burning. And this goes hand in hand with weight loss, which is one of the top reasons people choose to intermittent fast. Green tea and those catechins can also improve insulin sensitivity, cardiovascular health, and cognitive function. Next up, number 8 is herbs and spices. For herbs, some good examples would be sage, rosemary, and thyme. And for spices, turmeric, ginger, and cinnamon. These are great because they can help improve the taste of your food. They can be easily added to a juice or a smoothie. But the key thing is here that all of them have huge anti-inflammatory impacts. And as we know, intermittent fasting can help reduce those inflammation markers. So when it is that non-fasting period, including some of these herbs and spices kind of helps you double down on those anti-inflammatory effects. Number 7 is legumes. If you're not familiar with legumes, this refers to things like beans, lentils, and chickpeas. And they don't look like much, but they're actually overflowing with things such as fiber, antioxidants, proteins, and B vitamins. They are also complex carbohydrates, which will keep your blood sugar balanced. They're great for feeling fuller on less food, they can reduce cholesterol, and they promote gut health, which we know is so important. Number 6, whole grains. We recommend organic whole grains that are complex, such as oatmeal, quinoa, brown rice, and black rice. If you're intolerant to gluten or lectin, we recommend organic wild rice. This is actually a grass, not a grain. Therefore, it's naturally gluten-free. And all of these complex carbohydrates will promote healthy digestion. They'll feel much more satiating than those refined grains that are also going to spike your insulin levels. And they also have key nutrients like B vitamins, magnesium, and zinc. Number 5 is fruits. Fruits are, of course, very dense with nutrients and vitamins. But when it comes to intermittent fasting, you want to avoid high sugar fruits like mangoes, grapes, cherries, and pears. These are okay in small levels, but if your sugar levels are getting too high, it'll throw off your metabolic health. So you want to, during those non-fasting windows, stick to fruits such as avocados, believe it or not, lemons and limes, raspberries, strawberries, and blackberries. Number 4 is vegetables. They aren't going to give you a lot of help in getting a lot of calories, but they're extremely dense with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. They're particularly high in vitamins A, C, and K, as well as potassium and folate. And leafy green vegetables like spinach, kale, and arugula are probably your best options, along with other veggies like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, celery, asparagus, and mushrooms. One added benefit is they are also prebiotics, which means the vegetable fibers feed the healthy bacteria in your gut, which is going to help improve many different aspects of your health. Third from the top is seafood. A lot of different seafood like fish, crab, lobster, and shrimp are really high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential nutrients. And if you hear foods referred to as essential, this means it cannot be produced on its own in your body, but it has to be consumed in your diet. So as you might imagine, this is actually a very common deficiency amongst intermittent fasters. And if you can't do seafood, you should look for it in different nuts and seeds. It's really key for optimizing your health of your entire body, from your skin and your hair to your immune system to your heart and your brain. Number 2 is healthy fats. Some people get skeptical when it comes to high fat contents, especially if your intermittent fasting goal is to lose weight. But healthy, unsaturated fats are actually really important for your cellular health, your energy, hormone production, and bodily insulation. Not only that, but the fats actually are required to absorb certain vitamins and even some of the herbs and spices that we discussed earlier. And some great sources of healthy fats are olive, avocado, and coconut oils, as well as different nuts and nut butters. Finally, number 1 is protein. Protein is essential for so many reasons. First off, it's key for muscle growth and muscle repair. So if you're intermittent fasting, you don't want this to severely interfere with your workout progress. And in order to sustain that progress, you'll probably want about 50 grams or so. Protein also helps maintain a healthy metabolism, your bone density, and the production of different enzymes and hormones. And then finally, protein is by far the most satiating nutrient, so it's going to help you feel full and satisfied more quickly and for longer periods of time. Red and white meat and fish are super protein concentrated. Another option is plant or whey protein powders, and maybe you can just start off your non-fasting period with a protein shake or smoothie. And other high protein foods are yogurt, peas, legumes, and different nuts. So those are the best 10 things for the non-fasting window of your intermittent fasting diet, and they cover really all the key vitamins and nutrients that your body needs to optimize its performance. If you think your fasting routine is going to leave you deficient in one or more of those nutrients, you can always look into supplements. Of course, consult your doctor before you start any new supplement. And now, as promised, let's cover a few different tips and strategies that can completely wipe away that burden of your intermittent fasting regimen. Before we jump in, if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe so we can continue helping you harness your health. Tip number 1 is really more for the newbies, and that's to work your way up to your desired fasting schedule. If you're struggling, there's really no need to jump right into, let's say, a 16-8 method. You can start off with a 10-hour eating window or 11-hour, and then shrink it slowly each day or each week until you get to where you want to be comfortably. Next up is getting proper sleep. It's also really crucial to being successful in intermittent fasting because bad sleep is actually going to throw off your eating hormones, ghrelin and leptin, and this will make you feel full or hungry throughout the day disproportionately to what your body actually needs. The next tip is to stay really well hydrated, especially during your fasting window. This is going to curb some of those hunger pangs, which is actually just dehydration. And if you have a lot of caffeine, you want to make sure you're getting plenty of water along with that. Moving on, you want to eat slowly and frequently. Frequently so you can meet your daily calorie intake during just that short eating window, but also slowly so you can kind of ease your body back from that fasting period into the eating mode. This will help you avoid things like an upset stomach. Lastly, if you're finding it hard to balance your life with your intermittent fasting schedule, you can try meal prepping. This just requires setting aside some time a few nights a week to prepare meals for your coming days when you know that your schedule is going to be the most hectic. The main benefit that I see in this one is that it's going to prevent you from stopping for low quality foods that don't have all those nutrients in them when you're out and about and you really need to stick to that eating window. Thanks for sticking around. If our next video is up, you can check it out right here. Make sure you leave a comment below, let us know that you've subscribed, or tell us if there are any topics you'd like us to cover in the future. I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of you.